when putting this together, I really noticed a lot of themes. And one of the things that really resonated with me was the collaboration of the community in which we live, work, and play, Sheboygan County. And so I thought that this quote from James Cash Penney, otherwise known as J.C. Penney, was pretty fitting. And he said, growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together. And quite frankly, I believe that that is why Sheboygan County has been so successful in all of its years, is because this group really does come together and work together in collaboration to take on bigger tasks. So I want to say shout out to the community for being willing to collaborate, for being receptive and open to new and different ideas, and just willing to work together to get things done. So thank you all. Okay, so annually we survey the membership as well as we invite non-members to participate in the survey. So this just gives us an idea of the mix of respondents that participated. So, you know, when we look at the top three of industries that participated in the survey this year, we're looking at manufacturing, we're looking at construction and development, and we're looking at the financial and insurance agency. You can see that there's still a pretty healthy mix of several other industries, but these are the three that really rose to the top. So when you're thinking about the information that's being shared, it may be weighted heavy in that direction for the very reason that those organizations completed the survey. When looking at the size of businesses, we're looking at that 0 to 4 employee range, so smaller businesses, the 5 to 10 employee, 11 to 25, and then 1,001 plus, we're all pretty equal in that space. So I think we do have a pretty good representation of different and diverse sizes of businesses represented in this. So we'll jump right into workforce attraction. I know that it's our favorite thing to talk about. In the 8+ years that I've been here, I think every year we talk about how workforce attraction impacts us, whether positively or negatively. So it's always interesting to see kind of year over year what kind of progress we are making. So workforce growth. There was a 5% decrease in the number of individuals reporting workforce growth in their respective organizations for 2026. While this represents a minor decline, over 50% of the respondents are still indicating plans to expand their workforce in the coming year. Earlier in the year, WMC, or Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, reported that their survey results that 52% of employees are still having trouble hiring employees. So we continue to need employees, and we continue to see that in across the state of Wisconsin, inclusive of Sheboygan County, that we continue to have trouble finding the amount of employees that we need to fill our roles. Like I said, 51.6% of respondents expect their workforce will grow over the next 12 months, and this is down about 5%. So it is down a little bit, but the need is still significant that we need to continue to build our population in Sheboygan County and bringing folks here that are ready and excited to get working for our local employers. The expected positions needed. So in 2025, our report highlighted the top 3 job sectors as business management, finance, and IT, along with construction and trades. However, we've observed a shift, again, with construction now taking the lead in that space, followed by manufacturing, and then again the finance and IT fields. Meanwhile, the demand for that business management leadership positions has fallen actually to 5th place, and human services has moved up to 4th. So when we're thinking about the types of employees that our employers are reporting they need, we're really looking to fill these roles in the construction and trade space, of course the manufacturing space, and the finance and IT. We also began asking the question of what type of education or training are employers looking for when they're talking about hiring their next employee. And last year we had seen an increase in the need for college degrees. This year we noticed that trend has shifted a bit. So right now, when we're looking at the open job positions in 2026, over 52% of the respondents indicated that a high school diploma will be necessary. Bachelor's degrees were cited at just about 17%, and some college education accounted for about 14%. So we noticed again last year that the need for college degrees was a little more prominent in the types of jobs that we were trying to fill here in Sheboygan County, and that has shifted a little bit, looking at more of the entry-level positions again, and the need for a high school diploma versus having a full college education seems to be more prominent. We then went on to ask what skill set requires the most development for new hires. And so while this list may not cover every possible answer, it certainly highlights some of the more common themes. This is a conversation that we have in our Business Education Partnership Committee pretty often. What is missing, right? When employers are hiring folks, particularly younger folks at times, what is the skill set, or what skill sets are really missing? And so this was where people could just fill in the blank, right? We did not, I did not lead the witness, if you will. I didn't ask you to do a pick which one. I said, you tell us what it is you're looking for, or what are the needs. And these things really rose to the top. So employers are looking for folks who can do, who have the ability to make decisions independently, that want to and are willing to work with people, right? That human interaction piece has kind of left the building a little bit, but employers are looking for folks who still want to work with people and have the ability to have conversations in real life and interact in real life. Problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills. We heard this one a lot, and I'm sure many of you have probably seen it. Show up to work and show up to work on time, right? Don't just show up, but we'd also like you to be on time. Certainly communication skills, leadership, and sales and marketing. So there was a lot of other things that were mentioned, but what we did is we took the ones that were more prominent throughout. These were the themes throughout that we really took notice of. So, as we're thinking about how can we support our next set of employees that are filling our jobs in Sheboygan County, these are some of the areas that maybe we need to put some intentionality into, because it's not beneficial for the employee or the employer when folks show up unprepared, right? We're setting the employee up for failure in a way, and certainly making it harder for the employee to onboard a new employer or a new employee, if that makes sense. We also went to ask about what K-12 initiatives our local employers are currently using. In the past, we had asked you to kind of rate different things. This year, we wanted to get a better idea or more realistic glimpse into what you guys are doing by asking you guys to fill in the blank. You tell us what you're using rather than us giving you a list of things that you get to select down the line. So we continue to see that there is an active engagement in K-12 initiatives. Many organizations are participating in lots of things. Think about our intern and co-op programs, our partners at Inspire Sheboygan County or Inspire Wisconsin now. We have our CISA partners who do a significant amount of work in that space. We've got our junior achievement friends in schools doing a lot of this work as well. So employers really are taking this opportunity because they want to impact that next generation of workforce before they ever get to the workforce itself. And so we're super excited to see that the collaboration and the willingness to volunteer, right? Because employers have to send employees in to volunteer, which means they're taking time off of work to go into high schools, to go into middle schools, to go into elementary schools, whatever that might look like, to support our educators and support being workforce ready in the future. The overarching pattern, it was really a focus on that experiential learning and workforce readiness, organizations leveraging a mix of those hands-on activities, educational events, and partnerships to attract and retain talent in Sheboygan County. This doesn't look terribly different year over year, so we were excited to see that even though we didn't give you a list of things to check the box, you still gave us the same answer, so we were on to something from the very beginning. Common resources being used. to attract employees. So online job platforms, rose to the top of the list. Of course, Indeed, LinkedIn, the Chamber website was mentioned. The Make Your Mark campaign was mentioned frequently. Additionally, employers continue to really focus on that word of mouth and employee referrals, and that consistently does rank to the top of three sources that we continue to rely on for finding current employees. So, again, when we think about it, our employers are using their employees to attract new folks, which also means that culture in the workplace, and we'll see that later in the presentation where we talk a little bit about culture in the workplace, but it becomes very important because if we're relying on our employees to give us the referrals, we want to make sure our employees have a really wonderful working environment that they're feeling good and excited about so that they're referring the right people to our organizations. Also, the overall question of how likely are you to recommend somebody to move to a family member or friend to move to Sheboygan County actually increased to 4.5 stars. So we were super excited to see that because, each year it kind of teeters in that same space. But we are now starting to notice that more and more folks that are here are saying yes. We love Sheboygan County. Yes, we want to tell our friends about why it's awesome to move to Sheboygan County and live, work, and play in Sheboygan County, which means that we are doing some things very, very right. So be excited, pat yourselves on the back, because that takes the work of the whole village in order to be marketing champions for the community as a whole. Talking a little bit about the employee retention space. Annually, we ask what tools or resources are employers using to retain talent to their spaces. So the top four on this list don't really change much. They don't fluctuate, but they do kind of move around. So you can see flexible work schedules was at the top of the list, followed by the employee recognition programs, increased wages, as well as the professional development and leadership training opportunities. So, and you can see it goes down. So those are really the tools and resources that our employers are reporting that they're using. So my guess is that those resources are working fairly well. And also, as long as we continue to have a greater need for more employees, it may also indicate that maybe there's some opportunity for additional creativity and expansion of things, right? Like if we're doing the same things over and over again and it's working some, but it's not, not covering the whole base, if you will, then it might be a good indicator that, we should continue to open up those conversations of creativity and what other things can the business community, can employers do to retain talent in their respective spaces. Talking about wage increases. How many of you were excited to talk about wage increases? If you're a business owner, it's probably a sore subject a little bit. So 72% of our respondents reported an expected 3 to 5% wage increase this year. Roughly 90% of respondents reported planning a wage increase overall, and this is actually up 12% over last year's responses. So, talking about how are we retaining employees, obviously wage increases is a significant factor in that space, so much so that almost every employer is reporting that in order to keep their talent and in order to continue to attract talent, they have to continue to increase wages, which is, yes, we want people paid well. It also makes it hard for business owners when they have to make tough decisions about what sorts of things can we do. We can pay people more, or we can buy a new product. We can pay people more, or we can buy new machinery. So it is something that takes a balance, and it's a fine it's a walk that business owners have to do very carefully to make sure that they're covering all of the bases. We'll talk a little bit about optimism in Sheboygan County because we definitely are a community that is very optimistic, and we're super excited about the continuation of that. Talking about sales, we see a trend that year over year, and I have it back to 2015, so you guys can get an idea of what that looks like for the past 10 years or so. The Sheboygan County continues to report positive sales numbers year over year. 2025 really wasn't much different for that, with 62% of respondents reporting an increase in sales numbers over previous year's same time period. So we had those who reported, I apologize, lower numbers than previous year was at about 19%, which is a little bit higher than the previous year. So we did have more businesses reporting a lower sales numbers, and about 19% reflected no change at all. So just saying that their business remained consistent. It didn't go up, it didn't go down, it just was just so. And sometimes that's not a bad place to live either. How will your business perform over the next 12 months? 86% of respondents predict growth throughout the year. In summer of 2025, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce does a couple of similar surveys annually, and so we take that information and we use it as a comparison to what's happening in our county to see if it's reporting in the same space as it is across the state. And so in summer of 2025, WMC's survey results reflected that 92% of businesses believed their business would be profitable. And so it's good to see that, from across the state of Wisconsin, it is a very optimistic space, and roughly 86% of our respondents predicted growth as well. So the vast majority expects that 2026 is going to be a very successful year for all of us, and that is something for us to praise and be excited about, because it doesn't quite look like that across the country. Sheboygan County's performance over the next 12 months. So we also asked employers to share with us what they believed the performance over the next 12 months from the county perspective as a whole might look like. And according to this data, 78% of respondents are optimistic about the continued improvement for the economy of Sheboygan County. In WMC's summer 2025 survey, participants were asked to rate the current economies of the state of Wisconsin as well as the United States as a whole. And in that survey, they reported that 68% of respondents expressed a moderate view of the Wisconsin economy, while 20% considered it to be strong. And as far as it relates to the U.S. economy, 67% rated it as moderate, and only 13% viewed the U.S. economy as strong at that time. So the idea that 78% of our employers are reporting that they believe that the economy in Sheboygan County specifically will continue to improve over the next 12 months is very promising. Again, we're in a unique space, and what happens outside of here doesn't always, it impacts us, of course, in lots of different ways, but it clearly doesn't impact our hope and our optimism, which is really exciting. We're not letting all that stuff get us down. How about that? Costs expected to have significant impact on your budget. So a significant amount of feedback was gathered, revealing some of the common themes. Rising wages were mentioned. Recall earlier in the presentation about wage increases. There has been a 12% rise in employers reporting wage hikes this year compared to the previous one. Obviously, employers are very concerned about taxes, labor shortages. There's no new information there. Inflation, tariffs, and then new equipment investment, and that was one that was newer to the list this year, which rose to the top. So our employers are thinking about how do they continue to progress, how do they continue to build and expand, and bring new equipment into their spaces for efficiency and all of the things. We next requested that you prioritize the business challenges currently confronting your organization. And among the concerns weighing on the minds of our businesses are, of course, talent recruitment, the development of new leaders, healthcare costs, and competition. So this doesn't look much different than maybe what it had in the past, but those things do fluctuate a little bit. But we continue to be concerned about some of the same things. Competition actually was something that rose to the top of the list this year. That was a little bit different than previous years. So what we're seeing is that our employers are looking at competition as a threat right now, or in some way a threat. And so I think that's something that we need to be mindful and be very intentional with, because as we're working together here, we don't want this to become competitive in nature, especially when we talk about how successful we are in collaboration. So we don't want to be competing within. We can compete with everybody outside of here, but inside of here, this is all family, and we need to work together if we want to continue to rise above what is happening across the state of Wisconsin and even out into the United States as a whole. What professional development opportunities would you like to see offered? And so, again, we ask the question of what is it that you guys are looking for as employers? How can we support you better, differently? What sorts of programs, tools, resources can we make available? So local employers are continuing to look for ways to offer networking and relationship building. We saw that in that what skills are you looking for space, right? We want people that can communicate. They want people who can work with other people, and part of that is putting people in spaces where they have an opportunity to engage with other humans, which comes through networking and building of relationships. They're also focused on the leadership and management development. We saw that also rise in a couple of spaces. So about 56% are saying that leadership and management development is extremely important. They'd like to see those things offered, as well as fostering a positive workplace culture. So 51% said that workplace culture was an area that they wanted the chamber to potentially support and provide additional resources in going into throughout this year. So with that, thinking about we rely on our employees to refer people, again, we also need to be really mindful and intentional with the culture in the workplace space, because we don't get great referrals if we don't have employees who are really happy and excited to come and work for us every day. Notably, AI was mentioned in several comments as well. It did not make the top of the list, but I thought that it was important to share that artificial intelligence, some training, and I think some understanding around those spaces is on the minds of our business leaders, and it's something that we probably need to, put, again, some intentionality behind. What advocacy issues would members like to see the chamber take an active role in? So we ask this question each year. I think a lot of folks don't recognize that we have a governmental affairs and advocacy space that we operate in. The chamber was really developed in its own right to become an advocacy space for the community. So when we go back to 1885, the Sheboygan Businessmen's Association was formed, and then it transpired to, in 1915, to the Association of Commerce and what has now become the Sheboygan County Chamber of Commerce. And so we've really been looking at advocacy from the very beginning, from advocating and entering into contracts for ornamental street lights on 8th Street in the city of Sheboygan in 1915 to, in more recent spaces, the expansion of Highway 23. So advocacy does play a significant role in what we do at the Chamber. When asked what you guys would like us to take a larger role in, housing and childcare rose to the top of the list, taxes and fiscal responsibility, as well as economic development and infrastructure. So these are areas that employers are saying, hey, Chamber, we want you to get involved in these spaces, or maybe get more involved in these spaces than you already are. And so I would like to invite all of you guys, if you were one of those people who said, hey, we'd like you to do this, we do have that Governmental Affairs and Advocacy Committee, and it's a great way to bring some of this stuff to the table and get the amplifying of collective voices involved from the Chamber perspective. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please do reach out to one of the team members at the Chamber, because we'd love to invite you to that committee. Key concerns. So these were some of the top challenges identified by respondents. Of course, housing and affordable housing. So again, not just housing, but housing that is affordable to our employees, childcare, and then workforce labor and recruitment. So these are themes that really kind of rose to the top in many of the questions that we asked in different ways. And so we certainly know that there continues to be significant challenges facing our businesses in this space, and so we need to pour more work and time and effort and energy into supporting and advocating in those spaces. So again, we'd love for more of you to get involved. I know that our BEP is actively discussing things like, how affordable housing, childcare, obviously education, and how do we get that next gen into the spaces that we need them to. So there's lots of tables where these conversations are being had, but we always could use more voices around that table. What areas would you like to see the state of Wisconsin provide additional support? So in recent years, we have inquired about where the community wishes to see the state of Wisconsin take action. A few years ago, this question was posed as, we've got a lot of money in our rainy day fund, where would you like to see the state of Wisconsin spend that money? We did position that question a little bit different this year. And so again, we see that the employers are asking for folks across the state to do some more work in the healthcare cost space, do some more work in the childcare subsidies space, and then of course to support additional housing development, specifically in creating affordable housing. It's great to have housing, but if our employees can't afford the housing, it's all for naught. And so we need to be very intentional about ensuring we have access and opportunity for all of our team members, not just some of them. So, what are some of the things that the Chamber has been doing to help support many of these things that you guys are sharing with us? So a couple of years ago, you heard about the Make Your Mark campaign. We are now a little over 2 years into that. It has been extremely successful. I did want to share with you some of our top applicant markets by city, so you can have an idea of where we are attracting folks in. So we have marketing and branding across the country. So in a lot of different communities beyond even just the Midwest. So of course, Sheboygan, we continue to have a strong local workforce engagement. So I think that's important because not only are we looking to attract workforce from outside of the state of Wisconsin, but we also want to make sure that we are providing access and opportunities to our local neighbors who are also looking for employment opportunities. So we continue to support our local Sheboygan folks as well. Chicago is our largest out-of-area talent pipeline currently. Milwaukee is a consistent regional feeder market. We're seeing a significant growing interest over the past year from the Minneapolis market. And then Seattle, as far away as it is a notable long-distance relocation interest there. So we are seeing folks from Seattle that are like, hey, we're looking for new, better, different, and we want to talk to you about what you guys have available in Sheboygan County. Some other notables here, there are over 652 job seekers currently available and waiting for our employers to call them, offer them jobs, interview them, have discussions, whatever that may look like, from several diverse industries and varying levels of experience. And remember, a big chunk of the folks that we're looking for to fill our available roles is that entry-level high school diploma space. So I can guarantee you that probably a large chunk of those 652 applicants have a high school diploma, and they are ready to move here, and they are ready to work with you as soon as you're ready to employ them. Additionally, we've been organizing career fairs throughout Sheboygan County to attract new residents while also supporting local job seekers. We've also used this as a chance to bring outsiders into Sheboygan County, give them a reason to visit Sheboygan County. So when we're conducting these career fairs, we're also bringing people from all over the place and saying, hey, we want you to come to our community. We want you to interface with our employers in person, locally, and it also gives us an opportunity to highlight and make Sheboygan County shine for those who maybe have not been here before. To date, LEA has supported in one way or another just over 100 folks that have moved to Sheboygan County for employment purposes. So everything from answering questions about the community up to writing checks for relocation packages to those who qualify. In the past 2 years, LEA, our transition specialist on staff, has worked really hard and has supported more than 100 folks that have moved to our community from different places. Yes. That is, and it's a lot of work. So nice job, Leah. Talent attraction, make your mark, continued is, we have definitely dedicated a substantial amount of resources to promote the county and support local employers. And when we think about some of the other things besides the marketing, besides providing career fairs, we saw some other gaps that needed to be filled in order to make the program more successful. And so the newcomer events, just last night we were at the Cheese Counter in Plymouth, and we had about 30 or so folks that were newcomers to the community who had lived here for 5 or so years or less, come together to meet new neighbors, right? We know that when you move to a new community, it's not always easy to make friends, and we also know that if you don't have friends in your new community, you're not likely to stay for very long. So it's an important piece for us to connect new neighbors with other neighbors and help them to build deeper relationships and grow roots in our communities. We've also done things like providing, of course, the financial support. We've done resume writing workshops. We do provide tools and resources for trailing spouses and family support for our new neighbors. So it's not just the employee that we're supporting, but we understand that if they have a trailing spouse or they have additional family that might be coming along with them, it's important for us to be intentional about how we support those folks as well. Professional headshots. We continue to mail out newcomer welcome letters. Just actually at the event last night, there was a gentleman who said, yeah, my wife and I got this letter in the mail, and that's how we found out about this event tonight. So we know that those things are working, and we will continue to do those things as we move through 2026. Additionally, our impact, so we talked about those welcoming new residents. We do send those new resident letters out on a monthly basis. We also do a lot of focus on engaging young talent. So the summer internship, we hosted 92 interns and co-ops this past summer, organizing activities to, of course, showcase Sheboygan County, but also to foster relationships among young professionals. Our goal is that they come here for a summer internship, they fall in love with our community, they fall in love with our employers, and when they graduate from college, they decide that this is what their permanent place to call home will become. So we think it's been working pretty magnificently, and we're excited to launch our 2026 summer intern and co-op program here very soon. Our Junior Leadership Sheboygan County program, this is our 3rd year of supporting that program. So we have 11th and 12th graders across the county that come in and participate in a 10-month-long program with us. This year, we actually had new schools send students to participate in the Junior Leadership Sheboygan County program. So we continue to grow. That class is maxed out annually. We were not built to be school teachers, so we max it out at 25 kids per year, but it's a phenomenal group of kids, and we have so much fun, and it's really eye-opening. From some of the conversations I've even had with parents from our class is that their students now are in college, and some of their roommates are folks that they met in this junior leadership program, that they're connecting with folks across the county rather than being exclusive to just the folks that they know in their neighborhoods. So we know that it's working. It's really exciting to see, and I will tell you that if you have any interest in learning what the young kids are up to, the junior leadership program is a great opportunity to see how absolutely amazing of students we have in our community currently. We also have our adult leadership group here with us today. So if you're a part of our adult leadership group this year, can you stand up for me? I know you guys are I know we've got a group over here. We've got some folks spread out. So this is these will be our 2026 graduates of the adult leadership program. So let's give them a round of applause. When we put this Junior Leadership Sheboygan County program together, it was really mimicked after the adult leadership program. We've operated that program for several decades now, and think that it works pretty well. We continue to grow it, to make it better, to make progress in that space so that it doesn't become stagnant and boring. So we are really excited to have our adult leadership students here, and then be able to, turn that into a space where 11th and 12th graders can also learn in the same form and fashion. Inspiring future generations. So we also hosted the Explore Your Future program, which was formerly called Career Connections. So this is where we bring about 15 to 1,600 7th and 8th graders to local job opportunities and self-discovery workshops. We do this in partnership with our friends at Lakeshore College. They host this event for us annually and provide us a beautiful space. We also know that it gives our local students an opportunity to be introduced to the local education partners that we have right here in our community, that you don't have to leave this space in order to get a great education. We also had our STEAM Fest event, which actually grew this year, so about 1,600 4th and 5th graders, and we engaged them in learning about STEAM fields. We do this in partnership with our friends from Lakeland University, where, again, they provide us a space that we can bring a lot of kids into so that they can be introduced to our local education partners in the community and understand that they don't have to go far in order to get a great education. And then annually, we continue to pick up new schools and welcome also, we have several homeschool programs and homeschool parents from our county that participate in this programming as well, which is really exciting. So the goal is that we get every single student through our programs at one point or another, so they can be introduced, further into the different fields offered here in our community, but also it's a great engagement and interaction with local employers, and they're learning from experts. You know your field far better than we do, so it's really, it's just a ton of fun when we see employers come in and get extremely creative with how they can teach about their field, about their industry to 4th and 5th graders. And I know Claudia likes to talk a lot about how fun those kids are and how much they like to line up for candy. They'll spin the wheel over and over again as long as there's a piece of candy involved. We've also had significant growth this year at the Chamber. So we celebrated 101 new members that joined the Chamber. I want to say congratulations to Anna, and I don't know where she's at in the room, but she's here somewhere. Anna, where are you? Or did she walk away? Oh, there she is. Oh, she's hiding from me. She's like, Deidre, stop saying my name up there. Anna has done just an absolutely phenomenal job. We were thrilled to see that 101 new members joined the Chamber in 2025, which was almost double what we've seen in probably the past 5 years. So we are seeing growth. Yes, yes. Nice work, Anna. What it also tells us is that there's a lot of wonderful things happening in our space, and more local businesses want to engage, want to see that continued growth, and the Chamber is a space for collaboration. So when we have 101 new people that say, we want to work together with you, we see what you're doing, and we know how it's benefiting our community, that tells us at the Chamber that we're doing some things very right. We may not be perfect at all things. We're human. That's just the reality. But we know that we're doing something very right when we have growth like that. So new relationships, expanded business support. We also hosted our first small business resource fair, where we engaged 40 plus entrepreneurs from throughout the community that said, hey, we want to buy a business, start a business, expand a business, and we were looking for the resources. And we recognize that there is a gap in our community that unfortunately it's not always easy to find all of the resources, right? You got to go to like 45 different spaces. It's very time consuming, and if you don't know what you're looking for, how do you know what to type into your Google search bar, right? So what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring as many of those partners under one roof as possible. So from financial institutions to our partners in local municipalities, to our partners with in the economic development spaces. The SBA was involved. So and there were several others. I won't name them all because I will probably forget one likely and off the top of my head. But it really was a really wonderful day. We, like I said, had more than 40 entrepreneurs come through. They participated in seminars that we had partners put on for us, like business plan writing. They participated in some of our roundtable discussions. I actually had the pleasure of talking with one of our members who's been a member for quite a while, just recently, and they shared with me that they'd never participated in a roundtable before, and they've been members for several years. And they came in because one of their friends is starting their own business, so they were just coming there as a supportive person, and they ended up participating. And so through that conversation, they met one of our other chamber members, and I believe he's probably in the room, so I'm sorry, but he suggested that they do some press releases and talked about doing press releases. And so this member went back home and was like, well, okay, I wonder what this is about. So they ended up putting together a press release. They did use a little bit of AI, I believe, right? It's here to support us and benefit us. And within 48 hours, they sent it out. They Googled all the media people they could find, and they sent that out. And within 48 hours, they had one of our news partners out of Green Bay and Milwaukee reach out to them and do a whole interview on what they're doing as a business and the growth that they've had as a business. And so what that tells us is when you show up and you engage and you interact in that way, really great things can happen from that. And so this particular member was really excited. All I did was show up to a free thing that the chamber offers as a part of my membership, and next thing you know, we're being highlighted in a bigger way, splashed all over the media for all of the wonderful things we're doing. So I think that tells us these things work. And so we were glad to have that opportunity for not just our current chamber members, but also those looking to build, grow, expand their businesses. This past year, we also successfully launched our Board Ready program. This was something that we had talked about for several years as an organization. It is meant to, take folks who are maybe looking to how do they level up, how do they get more engaged, from a board perspective. We have a lot of nonprofits in our community that need a lot of leadership and support and volunteerism, but we also need to make sure that we are giving people the tools and resources to be successful in those spaces. And what we found through conversation and through surveys is that sometimes folks who've not had the experience yet are afraid to say yes and raise their hand because they don't know what to expect. And so this Board Ready program was really built to educate, to develop folks who maybe don't have that experience quite yet, so that they would feel comfortable and confident in raising their hand. When a nonprofit says, hey, we're looking for board members, who do you have? I now have 16 people who participated in this 5-part series in 2025 that are like chomping at the bit to get engaged in our local nonprofits. And so we were super excited to see how popular and successful that was, and we look forward to having more of that programming available in 2026 as well. And then lastly, we continue to actively foster partnerships across the state. Really, this is about creating synergies that enable us to tackle larger projects in collaboration. And remember what J.C. Penney said: growth is never by mere chance. It is the result of forces working together. And so we really try to be extremely intentional about building relationships within our community, but also relationships across the state. So we've done the partnerships with, Discover Wisconsin. Did anybody see that beautiful Discover Wisconsin episode that came out last year? That was something that the Make Your Mark campaign put together. And so now we have a really wonderful partnership with them. We are currently in partnership with the Eau Claire Chamber, as much as they're way over there, but we do partnerships with large chambers across the state because it allows us to provide additional tools and resources. So for example, there's a compensation study available currently that any of our employers can participate in. It just launched earlier this week, and it's $195. So if you've done a compensation study with MRA, you know that typically costs thousands of dollars if you're not a member of MRA. If you're a member of our chamber, you can gain access to that for just under $200. That's a part of our partnership when we work with other chambers across the state of Wisconsin. Of course, we continue to partner with our friends at the county. We couldn't do a lot of what we do without the support of Elaine and the county board, and they're cheerleading us on to do bigger and greater things. And then, several others, of course, SCEDC, our friends from the Sheboygan Falls Chamber, we do a lot of work together, so we're really grateful for that relationship. And we just continue to want to build on to this. The more that we are working together, really, the greater the success of this community and every one of our employers will be. Next, it is my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Elaine Kraus, our county administrator from Sheboygan County. Elaine, please join me.
So I am here to give the kind of state of the county address. So I'll be covering some of our key milestones and accomplishments from the prior year. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elaine Kraus. I'm the county administrator. I've been working for Sheboygan County for over 13 years, and I've been the county administrator for the past 3 years. The county is a large organization. We are comprised of over 900 employees working across 19 different departments, some of which are 24/7 operations. Our total budget for 2026 is $216 million, and of that, $54.7 million comes from tax levy. The rest comes from state and federal funds, private pay, and fees for services. I'm going to be going through a list of things today. They are in no particular order, but just wanted to touch on some of the accomplishments and milestones from the past year. Every day there are countless incredible things happening at our organization, none of which would be possible without our dedicated employees, our county board, and a lot of our community partners, some of which are in the room this morning. So I'm very honored to be sharing these with you. You'll see this year there's a mixture of facility enhancements, technology upgrades, service enhancements, and a focus on operational efficiency. Projects that sometimes aren't necessarily as flashy, but equally important to making sure that we are able to serve the residents of the county. All right, so let's dive in. Last year, we refreshed our mission, vision, and values. Our previous statements were over 20 years old. Not to say that they weren't still relevant or meaningful, but we wanted to make sure that they resonated with our current workforce. We worked with a consultant named Barry Dunn, and I'm incredibly proud of the input and collaboration we had across our employees. They participated via surveys, focus groups, workshops. They really owned this process, and I'm so pleased with the engagement that we had from all of our employees, and proud to share our new mission, vision, and value statements. We built a new multi-purpose household hazardous waste building. You may have heard me talk about this briefly last year. In the past, we would have household hazardous waste collection events. We usually held 3 to 4 per year, and each event saw between 300 and 600 vehicles, which is a lot of cars coming in a very short amount of time. And we caused backups on roadways, which was a safety concern. One year we had an event at Maywood, and we had so many cars that traffic was backed up all the way to Quick Trip near the interstate. So these events are very popular, and which is fantastic, but we wanted to make sure that we were meeting the needs of the community. So we built this brand new building. It was just completed at the end of October of this year. You can kind of tell from the photos. This is an aerial shot. This is our ADRC building in Sheboygan Falls, and it's located directly behind that just off of Forest Avenue. So the purpose of this building is to house those household hazardous waste events. Going forward, we will be holding more events so that the public can bring their items in on a more frequent basis to prevent some of those backlogs of traffic and allow more convenient access to disposing of those items responsibly. So those events will now be happening regularly between May and October. This building will also hold our annual county tree sale, which is extremely popular. We've sold millions of trees through that program, and that happens every year in April. Also, which sees a lot of vehicles in a short amount of time. And then throughout the year, it will also serve as storage for both our Planning and Conservation Department and our Sheriff's Department. This new model of having multiple events throughout the year instead of just a few will also provide cost savings for the county. So we're anticipating saving up to $50,000 per year by having these events spread out instead of having to deploy massive amounts of equipment and extensive staffing for just a couple of events. So if you're cleaning out your garage or your attic this spring, please keep these events in mind so that you can responsibly dispose of any items that you may have. We also did a lot of trail expansions this year. So starting with two of them, which are in Plymouth. I know we've got some Plymouth delegates here. We did $2.3 million worth of trail expansions in Plymouth this past year. Those were all federally funded through a non-motorized transportation grant. One of the segments connects the Old Plank Road Trail to the city of Plymouth in front of Generations, if you're familiar with that area. And this allows people to get from the city of Plymouth to that trail safely and more conveniently. In addition, the road that's adjacent to that trail, County Highway E, our transportation department repaved, and so you can see that pictured on the right. The second segment, which is, there's a rendering on the left, that is finishing a project in the downtown area on the Plymouth River Trail along the Mullet River. And so that includes the bridge, which is pictured here, and will connect downtown to Meyer Park. In addition, our transportation department repaved several sections of the Old Plank Road Trail in the Plymouth area to correct some issues and fill in some potholes that had evolved in the trail. We also did some major trail expansions at Rocky Knoll, which is our long-term care facility located between Plymouth and Elkhart Lake. Rocky Knoll sits on approximately 60 acres of wooded land, and we've been adding trails to that for the last couple of years. In 2025, we spent $110,000 on additional trail expansions. All of those were paid for through either grants or donations. And so now there are professionally built flow trails, which feature rolling terrain, banked turns, and various types of jumps, which you can see pictured here. The trails also offer year-round cycling, hiking, and winter fat biking. So the trail system at Rocky Knoll is now 7 miles long, and we're seeing a lot of interest and a lot of people taking advantage of those trails, which is fantastic. In the picture here, you can see a number of cyclists. For the kickoff ride for the new trails, we had over 35 cyclists come and join us for that one event, which is fantastic. Interesting fact, we have experienced riders who are reaching over 10 feet on one of the new jumps, which personally for me is terrifying. You will not see me out there because I would probably end up in the emergency room. But I'm so glad that we are able to make better use of the land that we own and open it up to more people who may previously not have had a reason to go to Rocky Knoll. And this was a great partnership with the Sheboygan Cycling Club. We have also been undergoing a massive project to digitize a lot of our records. So we are working on preserving important documents, not only to improve our efficiency and also make more effective use of space. As you can imagine, these take up a lot of room. So we're partnering with the Historical Research Center on the historical files and scanning everything from marriage records to county board proceedings to election results and cemetery records, all of which are records that we retain as county government. The two photos on the right are documents and a book from 1868. So everything from that going forward, we have it in our archives. So we're working on scanning those, not only so they're more accessible for staff, but also then public can search on them, especially people who do genealogy are very interested in this. The photo on the left shows a couple of our retirees that we hired back to also help with the significant scanning initiative at our Health and Human Services Department. They're working on back scanning a number of the files that we have, and to date they have scanned 3.65 million documents. 3.65 million documents. That's a lot of paper that we have at the county. So we are working on entering the 21st century and going electronic. So huge undertaking and very appreciative of their efforts. You can imagine the space and the chart rooms that was taking up that we're now able to put to higher and better use. We've also been undergoing a lot of facility enhancements. This is what I was talking about. Less flashy, but equally important for operations. We have a multi-year capital project that every year we do a few different things at both our detention center and our law enforcement center. And we try to spread projects out so that A, we aren't incurring large expenses in any given year, and B, we're trying to be as least disruptive to operations as possible. So this past year we installed new epoxy floors in the locker rooms for staff and new epoxy showers for the inmates, and also redid all of the tabletops in the day rooms to be more durable and hold up from damage. As you might imagine, the inmates are sometimes sitting there and like to doodle on the tables, and so this will prevent that and prevent future money being spent on repairing those tables. We also installed 6 new cooling units at the detention center to better regulate the temperature and be more energy efficient. These were original to 1998, so they were in need of replacement. We're also in the final stages of implementing a new door access control system. Our previous system was implemented in 2015 and is end of support. And so that was nearly $1 million project to do all new fob readers across all of our county buildings and print new employee badges for everyone. So again, not the most exciting stuff, but very expensive and important for our operations. The courthouse. I know if you were here last year, you heard me talk about phase 1 of our courthouse restoration project. We completed phase 2 in 2025, and that included window replacement. The windows at the courthouse were original from 1933, and so we underwent a significant project to replace all of the windows. And these are before and after photos. These are not AI generated. This is, granted, the sunlight does play a factor here, but you can see previously the building was very dirty. We cleaned it, we tuck pointed, we repaired a lot of the masonry and replaced all of the windows, and now it is beautiful and still maintains the historical aesthetics. In addition, the new windows will help with energy efficiency, and I know staff are very excited that this project has come to completion. I know Judge Torrey is here, who had to endure all of the noise and dust and commotion from that. In addition, the other portion of phase 2 was roof replacements, both on the main roof and the 3rd floor roof. In total, all of the renovations on the courthouse were over $6 million. So very expensive project, but long overdue. We'll have to see if these new windows last another 90 years. I'm not betting on it, but we'll see. And it's a little hard to tell in this picture, but so this picture in the middle is from the top of the courthouse, so 6 stories up, and you can kind of see the lake in the background. And I guarantee you the gentlemen who were working on that roof replacement had the best views in the county for the couple days that they were up there. It's absolutely stunning when you're up there and you can see across the lake and across the city. Another one of those less flashy topics, we went through a couple of significant IT upgrades in 2025 to keep our systems secure, efficient, and up to date. One of our biggest projects was updating all of our computers to Windows 11. A lot of you probably also went through this in your own businesses. We had to upgrade well over 600 computers and do training for staff. As you might imagine, when you tell a sheriff's deputy that you need to sit down for training, they say, I've got better things I can be doing with my time. Similarly, our staff at the highway department, when it's snowing out and you tell them they need to sit in training, they're like, nope, we got roads to plow. So anytime we do technology upgrades, it requires a lot of planning, communication, training, etc., to make sure that our operations can continue, but that we're deploying new technology and providing the training so employees know what they're doing and can seamlessly transition. In addition, our IT department also led a migration to Google Workspace, replacing Microsoft Office, which had reached Microsoft Office 2019, which reached end of life. This required a significant upgrade, but also helped us mitigate the risk by not having the security updates from Microsoft, and it reduced our server storage and backup needs. Our staff migrated over 6 terabytes of files from our S drive onto Google Drive, and so if any of you are in the tech world, you know how significant that is. It was many months of work, and again, a lot of training, communication, and change management across our organization. Our Sheriff's Department earned international recognition as an accredited center of excellence for emergency medical dispatch from the International Academies of Emergency Dispatch. It is a very long title, but it's very exciting. So there are 360 dispatch centers across the world with this recognition, and we are now only one of 3 in the state of Wisconsin. Yes, thank you. We are very proud of this achievement. It was a lot of work to get there, but this entity is the global standard for emergency dispatch services, and this accreditation is the highest distinction that you can earn as a dispatch center. So it certifies that we meet or exceed the industry standards and demonstrate strong oversight, rigorous quality processes, and a commitment to continuous improvement. Our dispatch center handles over 30,000 911 calls every single year, and we provide dispatch services for 22 fire departments, 4 ambulance services, and all 7 law enforcement agencies in the county. So they are very busy and worked very hard to achieve this. The dedicated staff ensure that our residents are receiving fast, reliable, and life-saving assistance, including walking people through delivering babies, which I think I'm aware of at least 2 babies that our staff have delivered over the phone, and life-saving CPR. So they are truly doing tremendous work, and we're very proud to be recognized with this achievement. We launched a new program, and it is called Sheboygan County Connect, if you haven't heard of it. This was funded through our American Rescue Plan Act dollars, and it operates out of our ADRC in Sheboygan Falls. It provides on-demand rides for seniors, veterans, and our disabled residents targeted in rural areas. It allows them to get to grocery stores, drugstores, and medical appointments, and helps them maintain independence where transportation might be a barrier, and fills a service gap in our community. In our first year, we had over 650 rides provided, and we were highlighted on TMJ4 News. So if you know of anyone who could benefit from this service, please contact the ADRC. We would be glad to assist them and schedule appointments so they can get where they need to be. The county continues to experience financial stability. As I mentioned earlier, our 2026 budget is $216 million, which is an increase of about $8 million from last year. And our tax levy is $54.7 million, which is an increase of about $1 million from last year. The tax levy is only about a quarter of our overall budget, and we have a heavy reliance on other diversified revenue streams. The chart on your left is showing the tax rate. For 2026, it's $3.25, which is a decrease of 9.3% from prior year. This is also the 10th year that the tax rate has gone down. The tax levy for 2026 is 1.72%, which comes out to about $925,000. Over the last 10 years, the average annual tax levy increase has been just 1.24%. Some of the increase of that tax levy goes towards our debt, library aid, and bridge aid, so our revenues internally are not going up equally. In fact, our allowable levy increase for operations went up by $642,000 from 2025 to 2026 for our entire organization. To put that into perspective for our entire budget, that means our revenues went up by 0.25%. So as Deidre was talking about earlier, all of those things that businesses face with increased cost for paying our employees, insurance, security, infrastructure, etc. If you could imagine your revenues going up by 0.25%, it makes things very challenging. Also, to put that in perspective specifically for the county, for our staff, to provide a average of a 3% pay increase and a 5% increase on health insurance, which are both modest in today's world, that's over $2 million every single year of new money that we need. And when our budget's only going up by $600,000, it makes things very challenging. So we continue to work within our means, and that's why anything that we can do to increase our operational efficiency is necessary. It's an interesting paradox that we grapple with. Not only does it cost more just to continue to keep the lights on, pay our people status quo business, but each year in nearly every single department, we're seeing increased demands for services. People need more from us. They expect more from us, but when our revenue doesn't go up, it's a unique challenge that we're faced with. And then last but not least, we are expanding our co-responder program. So this was originally launched in 2024 in the city of Sheboygan as a pilot program. Throughout 2025, we evaluated how it was going, and pleased to share that it will be expanding to countywide service as of January this month. So this pairs mental health clinicians with officers for immediate on-site assessment and de-escalation. And this is a collaborative effort between our Sheriff's Department, Health and Human Services, Elevate, which is a local service provider, and all of our local police departments. This reduces unnecessary arrest and jail time by treating health crises as medical rather than criminal issues, and uses warm handoffs to social services to connect individuals with long-term care and prevent repeat emergencies. We completed 487 assessments to date and are on track to reduce emergency detentions, also known as Chapter 51s, by over 50%, which is a huge accomplishment. And thank you. And so this program not only optimizes our resources deployment, but also lowers our long-term community costs. So we're very proud of this pilot program and the success that we've seen, and are glad to see it now being spread across the entire county. We've got a lot of collective achievements to celebrate, and none of these things would be possible, as I mentioned, without our staff and our board and all of our community partners and the other entities of government that we work closely with. And I want to thank you for your support, and we look forward to working together in 2026.
First of all, I just want to recognize a few city folks who are in the building today. We got Scott and Ron back there from WSCS, our local TV station, who making sure we can broadcast this program, and folks who can't attend can still stay up to date about all what's going on. I won't call out folks by name specifically, but a lot of city folks who help play a part in a lot of the work that we do serve on numerous committees and boards throughout the city. I know we have a few of our police and fire commissioners in the House who help hire our police and firefighters. We have a few of our redevelopment authority committee members in the House as well too, who help revitalize key areas in the city. We have our municipal court judge who's here as well too. And then we have Jeff Giveaway from our planning department as well. So a few city folks here who really help get a lot of the good work done in the city. So just want to recognize those folks. So one of the big projects going on in the city of Sheboygan that's getting a lot of attention is our marina revitalization program that we've been working on. Our marina is currently 32 years old now at this point, has been consistently running in the red for 30 years, and needs significant infrastructure repair and investment to survive hopefully the next 30 plus years. Obviously, we live in Wisconsin on the Great Lakes, and what contributes a lot to the damage that is sustained in our marina is obviously the winter. Ice freezes, it gets windy, the ice damages docks, the ice and wind and snow and rain can really damage the wood building that we have there too. So the City Council gave a direction to take a broader look back at the marina, and we really want to focus on making this a full community asset. While most folks in the county don't own a boat, we still want to make sure the investments that we're making in this public space, everybody can enjoy. So we want to enhance the marina, enhance D-Land Park, and really make it a signature amenity for our community that everybody can enjoy. So we are working with Edgewater Resources, who are currently collecting data and information and feedback from stakeholders and community members as well. So feel free to stay involved and engage in that process. On the city's website, we have timelines and more information you can follow along and submit feedback on as well too. And here's part of the concept design for the new marina. Again, concept, very high level. Might not exactly look like this, but we're looking at adding a new dock to park larger boats and for folks in the public to walk on, fish on, and enjoy the lake. And this will also help protect a lot of the ice and wind damage that is sustained. The Army Corps of Engineers, here's one of my new announcements that I'll make that you'll hear for the public in the first time. The Army Corps of Engineers is going to be designing and working on repairing the North Pier starting in 2029. So from now until then, they're going to be doing some designing work and look at the enhancements that need to be made there, because right now, currently, there's a lot of silting that is occurring here, and you can see the buildup over there. So we're working with the Army Corps to clean that up and build a new North Pier that will look very similar to South Pier as well, with enhancing new park and community spaces, making a bigger building. We're looking at honing in on what a bar or restaurant would look like there too. So some more public amenities down in the marina. So that's an ongoing process, probably a few more years until we put a shovel in the ground, but stay involved and follow along that project. Another key initiative and program that we're doing that's been a multi-year program is our Complete Streets initiative. So the city of Sheboygan, we've been really focused on fixing our roads, but also modernizing the infrastructure along the way. A lot of calls that we get as elected officials deal with speeding, reckless driving, noisy driving. So we want to make sure that the built environment that we have on our streets is modern and makes it pedestrian friendly. Also helps reduces speeding, making sure that we have less fatal accidents for pedestrians, bikes, and motorists as well. So this was a grant through the Safe Streets for All grant from the Federal Department of Transportation. And some key initiatives and projects that you've already seen that we've implemented this on are Lincoln Avenue, Indiana Avenue as well. So we're continuing to roll this out, and we're looking at identifying key points throughout the city as well. So we hired MSA, which is an engineering firm, which is helping us develop this plan and implement a lot of it as well. And we're partnering with the Sheboygan Area School District for Safe Routes to School program. We're going to identify areas around schools all the way from elementary, middle, and high school, so that kiddos can get to school, walk, bike, get dropped off, picked up, making sure that the key areas around schools are safe for folks to get to school. So if you've been downtown recently, you've probably seen and heard some demolition going on all across 8th Street. So one of the key projects we're working on, the city purchased the old Fountain Park Motel, and that has been demolished, and we're looking at building a Marriott hotel downtown with Hatch Distillery from Door County. Their second location will be in Sheboygan, and we're looking at identifying a rooftop restaurant on this site as well. So demolition has started. We're honing in. Obviously, the weather's been warmer, so maybe we'll start construction sooner. We're looking forward to that project going underway. And a key component of what's driving the hotel market demand in Sheboygan primarily has been feedback we've gotten from businesses. Obviously, we have a strong tourism economy, and a component of what drives our tourism number is business travel. Obviously, a lot of folks know you have clients or partners that you work with that come here, and a lot of feedback that we've had was we need modern hotel stock in our city center. So we want to make sure that we have a modern, fresh flagship hotel in Sheboygan downtown. So we're working with Marriott, and we'll hopefully break ground there in the spring. Obviously, if you heard me speak before, it's a noun, verb, and housing. So housing has been a key initiative the city's been laser focused on over the last few years, making sure that we're diversifying our housing stock and we're meeting the demand that we have. I always give a quick economics 101 lesson because folks always say, well, why are we building all these houses? Why are we building all these apartments? Well, you've heard today and a lot of the data presented, businesses are growing, folks want to move here. And a key barrier that we need to tackle is making sure we have housing options all across the board, from starter homes, duplexes, townhomes, and yes, more apartments as well too. So obviously there's a national housing shortage impacting the entire country, and the city is working on doing its parts to making sure that we can build to meet the current demand. So the city needs to build 5,200 homes in the next 5 years to meet the current demand for housing in our area. And I think you'll hear from other mayors in a little bit to hear about their housing programs that they're doing as well. So obviously a lot of factors play into demand. Folks want to move here. Folks are retiring and want to downsize. In a healthy housing market, you want a housing vacancy rate in our community anywhere between 5 and 7%. Has the ability for folks to upscale, downscale, sell their house. You have more variety. Right now, our housing vacancy rate is less than 1%. So obviously, there's a high demand, low supply, so that drives up costs. And I think a lot of folks see that impact here locally. So some of the housing projects you've probably seen pop up and chatted about in our community that the city's been partnering with. We've been partnering with our friends at Partners for Community Development for the Gateway Project, which is an affordable housing project that I don't see Karen, but I think we have the ribbon cutting Thursday. There we go. Who said that? All right. Hey. Yeah. So Thursday we're breaking the ribbon on that one. Across from the Silver Fern. Folks are familiar with the Silver Fern. We've been working with, we acquired the old Litke's Meat Market or the Jacobs Hall, depending on what folks are familiar with. So we're going to be building some affordable townhomes there as well. Recently opened up was the Berkshire Apartments and Townhomes off of Indiana Avenue. Those, I believe, are at 92% capacity. I think they only said they only have 4 or 5 apartments available right now. So those filled up very, very quickly. On the beach, we have the Malibu Apartments, which are under construction. With the weather being fair, they are ahead of schedule on that as well, too. The city acquired about 170-ish acres on the far south side, the old Gartman farm. So this is a concept of a layout. We've been really laser focused on when we acquire and build out new homes, we want to make sure that they have strong amenities and that are attractive. We don't want to just build out sprawled out subdivisions. We want to make neighborhoods that have sidewalks, parks, diversified areas in there, childcare access, food access as well. So we want to make sure that these are attractive neighborhoods for folks to come here. So this is a very high level old concept of the layout that you see through here, and these are some of the housing types that we'll be building here. And again, these will be multiple different types of housing, from single family home to townhomes to quadplexes as well. So we're working through that. Phase 1 up here in this top corner will be starting in spring. So folks lived on the south side, you probably saw a lot of trucks moving there, getting the fill ready for this spring to break ground on housing. If folks have also saw this summer, we have cruise ships coming to town. So American Cruise Lines is stopping in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and we're really excited about that. So we've been working with them, coordinating a lot of the folks who have excursions. I believe it's 4 times the cruise ships will be coming here. So folks will port in Sheboygan, they'll get off the boat, go downtown, spend their money, go to the bars and taverns and shops in our community as well. So if you're interested in being on their list, please reach out to my office, and we'll be happy to connect you with that cruise agency if you're in town as well. So that's been a partnership with the Great Lakes and Governors organization, who've been focused on bringing cruising to the Great Lakes. We've been working with Governor Evers and his organizations on that as well. Another large construction project downtown is the WOW Center. The city has been partnering with the WOW Center to help with their demolition program as well too, to enhance arts and entertainment in the city core as well too. So that project is underway. It's been very busy on 8th Street, especially if you're right next door, right, Kate? But we're really excited for our friends at the WOW Center for that project as well too. And again, some of the key components of what's driving a lot of these key innovations is the growth in tourism, like I mentioned. Obviously, Sheboygan is known as the Malibu of the Midwest. No laughs on that one, okay. Coffee's wearing out, Deidre, we need a refresh. So third quarter this past summer, we had another record-breaking year for tourism. We hit a high water mark once again, and that's not just the city of Sheboygan, that's our tourism zone. So town of Wilson, town of Sheboygan, and the city of Sheboygan. That's just been amazing, filling our hotel rooms, getting folks to spend their money in our community. Some other key projects the city's been working with is our friends at Old Wisconsin. They recently purchased a building in our old part of the business park as well to add another production line there. The Boots and Sports Complex on the far south side is a soccer facility that we've been working on for many, many years. And we've been partnering with Lakeshore United to help get that going, and they just had their first few games this last fall. So over the next few years, we're going to continue to make investments and build that out for more soccer fields, obviously more parking, and more amenities in that area as well. We want to get folks from around the state who have tournaments to come here, play soccer here, and again, invest and spend their money in our community and show off the great things that are going on in Sheboygan. If you're driving in on Erie Avenue, Kohler Memorial Drive 23, you probably see Old World Creamery continues to build and expand. So the city has been working with them to provide them low interest loans for their expansion. And this is the fun fact you can bring up at trivia. Old World Creamery in Sheboygan, it's the second largest butter producer in the state of Wisconsin. So that's a little feather in our cap right there, and we're happy to continue to support Old World Creamery in the work that they do.
And their cream cheese is delicious.
It's so good, yeah. Great Bloody Mary fixings too, if you got to pop in there. So,
I know where I'm going.
you see? And they have a storefront too at Old World Creamery with a lot of good cheese and butter and all sorts of fixings there. So stop in there. It's a great project that's going on. City just recently voted on helping support Volrath's commitment and investment in our community as well. So they're going to stay here for hopefully another 150 more plus years. So they're going to be investing $40 million into upgrading their headquarters facility and up to $80 million for their new manufacturing facility as well too. So one of the legacy legacy companies, continues to invest and create more jobs right here in Sheboygan. What else? Just a few quick things on the grocery list. Obviously, we're updating our zoning code. Our zoning code hasn't been touched since the mid-90s, so we want to make sure that we're modernizing it, improving investments in our neighborhood, updating and modernizing our setback requirements and design standards for our community, providing more housing options as well. We're working with Bay Lakes Regional Plan Commission to update our comprehensive plan, which is our long-term guide for the social and economic vision for our community as well. Our Department of Public Works staff recently took a step back in making key adjustments to what's known as dumpster days. So if you want to get rid of a mattress or a bunch of junk in your basement, we've now opened that up for the entire city, which we had, and I should have got the numbers, but we just had record-breaking item collections for junk people are just getting rid of. That lines were going all the way down New Jersey Avenue. So we're going to continue this program. So if you're doing some spring cleaning, stay tuned. We do this program once a month as well. So that's been a tremendous success. We've collected, I think, close to over 1 million pounds of just junk, that would have ended up, in the gutter or wherever else. So that's been a key program as well. We have a new dog park at Kiwanis Park. 47% of Sheboyganites own a pet, so we want to make sure we have pet amenities right down from your neighborhood that you can walk to as well. So we have 2 more dog parks underway at Cleveland Park and Moose Park. So if you're in those neighborhoods, stay tuned for more dog parks as well. We have a new beer garden operator. So we took a little break with our beer garden this past year, and we have new operators who will be opening up in May. So make sure you schedule your business Friday meetings at the new beer garden coming soon. We continue to work with SCIO to expand the farmers market. They keep growing, which is great. We help partner with them to close down 8th Street and provide more pedestrian access for our farmers market. Big question I get asked is what's going on with Pier 17? I don't know yet. So that's why I just want to make that statement. It's still owned by a private developer. But if you have great ideas, please let us know. So we want to make sure that space is something that will be a great enhancement for our community. We're working with our friends at Habitat for Humanity. The city owns a few random lots throughout the city, so we're trying to offboard some of those lots to Habitat so we can build more affordable housing as well. Just a key point, want to really highlight too, with a lot of the work that you all are doing in the city and everyone else's partnerships, our unemployment rate continues to be at a record low. The average for the city of Sheboygan for unemployment usually hovers around 4%. Right now, we've been around 2.8% this last year and a half. So that's been a lot of great work, and we should all be proud of that as well too. Phase 2, senior centers. If you know someone who wants to get out of the house and who's over a certain age, our senior center continues to do some awesome work in programming as well too. We just completed phase 2 at the senior center. So phase 2 means we've added pickleball courts, which has continued to be fun and keeps it busy down at the senior center. And we continue to break records in memberships. Before the pandemic, we hovered around maybe 300 members. We're now at 1,500 members. So it continues to grow. And it's not, you don't have to live in the city of Sheboygan to be a member. Anyone in the county can be a member of the senior center too. And as Elaine mentioned too, partnering with Health and Human Services for our social work partnership as well, and that has reduced involuntary commitments by 50%. So that's a huge success. It allows our cops to focus more on policing issues as well. So our police officers love it. I didn't have it on the list because I didn't want to jinx it, but one of the hot topics going on in the city of Sheboygan right now for development is Amazon is looking at purchasing a parcel in our business park. So I don't want to jinx it. It passed the finance committee. It goes to council on Monday. So maybe at my next year's update, we'll let you know the status of Amazon building a distribution center in our business park as well too. So those are just some of the highlights that are going on in the city of Sheboygan, and just want to always encourage folks, if you have ideas or want to set up a meeting or just pick your brain, please reach out to my office. I love working with many of our businesses in our local community. So thanks folks for being here. I appreciate it.
Again, I'm Dan Hine. I've been the chair for the town of Sheboygan for 26 years. actually 27 in April. We have Tom Holton, our town engineer, also director of our public works, is with me today. First of all, good morning. Happy New Year to everyone. I'd like to thank the Chamber for this opportunity to highlight the town of Sheboygan. Development interest continues to be strong in our township. As I mentioned last year, the town created its first TIF district in June of 2020. To date, this TIF district has generated over $75 million in equalized value. An amendment district was approved this month. We added another 200 acres for further development. Quick Northtown update. If you're not familiar with the Northtown development, Northtown is located off of 40th Street, just north of the Culvers. If you haven't seen it, you really need to drive through it. It's very impressive. The businesses, the Rise Fitness and Golf 365, which are located, are doing better than projected. They just opened up. The Home 2 Suites has exceeded booking expectations as well. And the apartments that are located in the development are at 90% occupancy. There's, what did I say, like 10 rooms left or 10 apartments left? So there's not much. It's been very active. In 2025, the projects that we created approximately $60 million in additional value to our TID number 1. What you're seeing there is our water tower that was just completed this past year for our water tower number 3. It's a 750,000 gallon tower. It's located at Playboy Road in County Trunk Y. It provides an additional 500,000 gallons of fire flow as well as added supply for development. We invested $4 million into this we were behind, we didn't have enough water storage, and this will give us capacity for future development. What you're seeing there is the Van Wyck Auto opened up last year. They built a 17,000 square foot facility, and it's located off the Northtown development, and it's on Enterprise Drive. It's very impressive if you go through it. Longhorn Steakhouse exterior work is complete. The interior building is ongoing. It's scheduled to open March of this year. I've had a lot of inquiries about when is it going to open. Well, I just talked to the ownership last week, and they said it should be the early part of March for a groundbreaking. This is the Charter Senior Living, and it's under construction again in the Northtown development. This project includes 114 independent living units. It's really a unique concept. 114 independent living units, 48 assisted living units, 21 memory care units. Amenities include indoor pools, indoor restaurant, parking garage, and more. Expected to be completed by the mid of 2027. Ongoing single-family residential include Werner Homes Complement Estates, that's located off of Y and Grody Road. American Dream Builders Lincoln Estates east of North 40th Street. Hillcrest Windmore at County Trunk Y and J, that's where I live. And Werner Homes Maywood Estates south of Miller Road, west of Maywood. In 2025, we had 14 new homes that were constructed at a value of $7 million. Again, in Northtown, a lot of activity. This is the Clifton Larson Allen CLA 12,000 square foot office building in Northtown. The exterior is complete. The interior build out will start soon. It's scheduled to open up sometime this summer. Last I heard, there was about 60 employees that were going to be working out of this facility. These are all these projects are what you're going to see for 2026 are expected to generate $80 million in added revenue to our TID. Next would be due to the success of Home 2 Suites, as I mentioned earlier, Hampton Inn and Suites, which we just approved last week, or 2 weeks ago, is expected to build 91 rooms. Again, it's scheduled to break ground this spring. It'll be directly behind the current Home 2 Suites building. And it's again located in the town of Sheboygan in Northtown. Premier Alliance Riverside Villas. I get a lot of inquiries about what's going on there. This is a 22 single-family unit at Highway 43 on Lower Falls Road, west of Art Preserve of John Michael Kohler Arts Center. This used to be the turnoff that used to, for the people who remember, it used to be going on to Highway 43. The developer purchased this property and now is going to be building 22 single-family units. Next is the Meadow Lake Apartments. This is Duquesne Development located between Larry's Distributing and the Preserve Apartments, which are on Playbird Road, are scheduled to break ground this spring. The project consists of 12 30-unit buildings, clubhouse, and walking trails. The project's expected to be phased over a few years. Next, we have 5300 Investments is proposing a 3-lot commercial light industrial development located along Highway 42 at Vanguard Drive. The infrastructure was installed last year. Building construction for iron supports, which is a 43,000 square foot facility, is scheduled to start this spring. So basically, we're looking at 3 buildings around 50,000 square feet to be built for industrial purposes. 2026 infrastructure projects include Highway J lift station replacement, County Trunk Highway Y and Bender transmission water main, Playbird Road water main and sanitary sewer, Stone Drive water main and sanitary sewer totaling $4.5 million. Our anticipated future projects, Eileen Robarge is here. Eileen, we've done a lot of work with her. She would like to develop this Ballymore development by, her company's name is Wisconsin Lakefront Properties, located at 40th Street and Stone Drive, west of manufacturing housing community consisting of approximately 140 units. How many units do you have in the town of Sheboygan?
I'm sorry?
How many units do you have in the town of Sheboygan already?
254.
254. She's been a great partner. Next slide. On another note, I was told the good with the bad. Hardee's just notified us last week that they were closing for permanently. This is a 1.acre site. Will be available soon as an awesome development opportunity. I did talk to the owner of the property, and the intent is to market it for some type of restaurant. Again, thank you for allowing me to show you and talk about all the Town of Sheboygan projects.
Like I usually do at these, I do my updates a little bit differently, just to break up the flow. But Sheboygan County is an impressive place to be, as you can see from the updates that have happened, that have been given so far, and the ones you will receive. Really, no other county I'd rather be working in. The cooperation is second to none. But here's what I have to tell you today. So I decided to compare economic development to wrestling because I was a wrestler. I like wrestling. So there's 4 H's in wrestling. So I'm going to convert those 4 H's in wrestling over to how they work in economic development. So the first H in wrestling was hips. All the power comes from the hips in wrestling. So the power for economic development comes from the team. The team starts maybe with the mayor, city administrator, council, all city team, but then it expands out into the chambers, the SEDC, the county, working with the League of Municipalities, the developers. So again, all the power comes from the team. Without a team, there's no power behind economic development. So second H in wrestling is hand control. Had to control the other person's hands, otherwise they were doing things to you. I'd rather be doing things to them. So how do you relate that to economic development? Hands-on and holding hands is important during economic development. You have to have a partnership with the developer. You can't, as a community, you can't look at the developer like, well, you don't have more of you, we'll just find another developer. And you also have to explain to them what the process is. And not only what the process is, all the approval process, but how easy you're going to make that process for them. So you have to pre-prepare practice, and plan, and have that process be a smooth process. And in Sheboygan Falls, we do that really well. Third H in wrestling is head. Have to use your head. Doesn't mean bang your head into things. It means think. So you have to study and think and plan, and you have to take part in other activities. So Sheboygan Falls, we do a great job of that. I'm honored to be the current president of the Wisconsin League of Municipalities, all the cities and villages, except Madison. But hey, we got to have all the cities and villages, but not Madison. I think I'll take all the other ones. Madison will come back because they'll miss us. But you really have to constantly study and find techniques, and you have to constantly listen. A good example of that is the SCDC housing development taking place in Sheboygan Falls, Founders Point Phase 1 and Founders Point Neighborhood Phase 2. Originally, when the SCDC came to us, we're like, well, geez, we don't know of anything. And then my former city minister said, well, what about that commercial property out by Plankview Green? And then we all got kind of thinking, and next thing you know, we have 95 homes either mostly complete or nearing completion. So that's really a big addition to the city of Sheboygan Falls. But you constantly have to be thinking and not being afraid to think out of the box a little bit. Even though sometimes you're like, oh, I've really thought of the box in this one. And then sometimes some of your council members want to put the box right back around it. You're like, hey, we came up with new ideas here. Come on, let's go. And then the fourth thing, H of wrestling, was heart. I put a lot of heart into wrestling when I did it. I mean, all the other people I wrestled were cheating because they were seeing and I wasn't. So I had to counteract that by having a bigger heart, and I'd like to think I did that very successfully. I was honored to out in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame and all that kind of honors. But you really, all the local leaders, when you talk to them, you'll see their enthusiasm and the heart they put into it. Trust me, Mayor Pullman, Chairman Hine, those we're not doing this for the pay. It's a lot of work. Mayor Sorensen will tell you it's a lot of work. But we do it because we have a heart and caring for development. So again, just in case you're keeping score, the 4 H's in wrestling are hips, hand control, head, and heart, and now those are the 4 H's of economic development. So Sheboygan Falls, we continue to do well, but I did have a lot of replacement in my team. Colin Pelletier is here today. He's our new city administrator. Colin, if you want to wave at the folks. It's been really great. It's been really great to hire our second city administrator. Colin comes with experience, and we just did his annual review, and it was positive, so that's always good. He's been here about 5 months, but he said, I said, well, what surprised you about coming here? He said, you've got a lot more going on than I thought before I came here, but it's great. And we really do. From our historic downtown districts, which continue, anytime there's an opening, it doesn't take long to fill those openings. I'd encourage you to visit downtown Sheboygan Falls, and if you stop in the bookstore, Sip and Story, during the winter, and you ask them if they have ice cream, an angel doesn't get their wings, but a mayor does smile, because they take the ice cream off the menu for winter, and I kind of give them a little hard time about that. So if you do that too, I'll smile. But a lot of great things going on in our downtown, and everything continues to repopulate. It's always amazing how many new businesses show up. You think, oh, we got 2 openings. Well, now we got no openings. So things keep flowing there. But there's always room for more ideas and more innovation in our downtown area. But we're very, very proud to be a Main Street community. Very proud of that district. Vision Park. Yep, I named it because it took a vision to create it. So it's Vision Park. That is full. We just bought more land to expand Vision Park, and we probably got an offer on the same day we bought the land to sell half of what we bought. So things continue to progress, but the businesses building right now in Vision Park are SSL Industries, Alfuri Labs, and Fifth Color is doing a really nice expansion out there. So Vision Park has been a great success. We're very grateful to work with all those partners and work with many different construction firms to build things out there. And it's kind of been a rinse and repeat. We really have the system down as to how we do it, and it's worked really well. Which is why we bought more land to do more stuff really well out there. Housing, we have the SCDC development, which I don't want to take all TJ's thunder, but it's gone really well. Out of the first phase, 54 homes, 50 or 51 are either under contract to be sold or sold, and 3 remaining to be built in that phase 1. And then phase 2 is just kicking off the sales on that, and Warner Homes is handling the sales end, and sales have really picked up. And I have no doubt that when I give this update next year, they'll probably have them all sold. We have Falls Meadows subdivision across from Falcon Way on County Road PP. They have 8 building permits. There was some bumps in there, but those bumps seem to be smoothed out. They've got the roads in now, actively building. So next year I can tell you about the new people living in the Falls Meadows subdivision. Again, nice addition subdivision to the city. And I'm very excited to be working with Warner Homes. They'll break ground in their subdivision in spring of this year. But very excited. Warner Homes has an outstanding track record in Sheboygan Falls, mainly because they dug a pond years ago, and some existing neighbors objected where the pond was. We're like, oh boy, what are we going to do? And Bob Warner said, I'll move the pond. I said, thank you. So Bob just made it really easy, and always they're just a pleasure to work with. Apartments, we have new apartments going up from Bruce City Apartments to Marshview Apartments. That's also part of the SCEDC development on Founders Point. But they're actively building, so there's no shortage of that. But really happy with what's going on in Sheboygan Falls. But again, without a good, positive economic development in the county, I can't stress that enough. You can only do as well as everything's doing around you. So all the economic development happening for everyone else is really a key driver of whatever's happening in Sheboygan Falls. So I'm very appreciative of what's going on in the rest of the county. I was told in my last campaign brochure I bragged too much, so I'd rather, but I really do believe in the team concept more. So not gonna just go on and on about Sheboygan Falls, although I could. But we've assembled a great team. We've had some changeover in the last year: new police chief, new director of public works, and new city administrator. So that's from a mayor's standpoint, that's exciting for me to work with new people because they bring new ideas. They challenge you in new ways, and that's exciting. I always like when people challenge me in a respectful way. I dislike when people challenge me in a disrespectful way. So it's making that really clear. So if you challenge me, do it respectfully. But really enjoy sharing what's going on in Sheboygan Falls. Again, things are going really well. And again, a tribute to everything that's going on in this county, and I think the rest of the state and the rest of the country could learn a lot from what's going on in Sheboygan County. But with that, I'll stop. I'll certainly be around to talk to you more, but I like to keep my stuff short and not bore you with too much detail. But thank you for the opportunity, and have a great day.
Good morning, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here and talk with you and update some of the things like our other leaders have talked about. We certainly appreciate seeing some of our state officials here. Thank you for your support. County supervisors, you're an important part of this, and fellow city and village and town elected people. I don't think we can miss the importance of all of you being part of what we try to do in partnering with all the businesses in the community around us. As bad as COVID was, it actually was very beneficial to the city of Plymouth We have a test after this. There's one question, cheese capital of the world, where is it? Plymouth. Got the answer, remember that for later. The opportunity that COVID gave the city was to pay off our short-term debt. We are short-term debt-free. That is something that not only historic, but it gives us a lot of leverage in the financial place. That helped attract and anchor in several developments that we will talk about here in a second. One of the most interesting developments that came about was the Henry Christopher Hotel in downtown Plymouth, the old 52 Stafford. This project is in a neighborhood of $23 million. So it's quite a development. It will be an enhancement to the entire city and the county as a whole, but certainly something that will attract business and tourism, being that it's well-funded and it is in our TID number 8. We have several projects coming on board. This is the Vanguard housing development that is west of Walmart, and that development is about 35 million. Phase 1 is finished. They're going to be starting on phase 2. These are condo apartments to be rented, corporate owned, and toward those, a lot of amenities, something that's needed throughout the county for housing, but certainly in our end of the county, something that will be very attractive. This is a $88 million appraised addition to the Sargento development. It says TID number 9. That's not official for another 8 hours. We'll be bringing that to the board of review tonight at 5 o'clock, and then at 7 o'clock, the Plan Commission will approve the developers agreement, which we're very pleased to participate in, and we're able to do that. Thank you. We're able to do that because in April of 23, we were TIF'd out. We extended under state law a 1-year housing fund set aside under state law that let us put $2.5 million into housing revolving loan. That in itself, since we were TIF'd out, things weren't necessarily going great anywhere in the country. We took that year to create that fund. April of 24, the door opened up, and we had been talking for a long time with businesses to bring development to the city. Certainly the Sargento project is just one of those. This one is 3 years in the making. It takes time, and one of the requirements of any manufacturer business is, what are you doing about housing? We proved that we were doing something about the housing by creating that $2.5 million revolving loan, and that will be accessible, and I'll let TJ talk about the development over by St. Vincent de Paul. It'll be east of the high school football field. Those funds will be accessible to facilitate that project. The, which one is this? This is another Plan Commission revolving loan discussion that'll get approved tonight. This is a housing project on the Highway 67 south going out of town up to County Trunk E. This project is, we call it a pay-as-you-go. We don't invest the funds as a city and take the risk. The developer puts out the money and we reimburse on a pay-as-you-go and the development occurs. I think that's very important in the process of having some sort of oversight that's a $46 million, 119 single-family homes. On the south side of that, we'll have 5 12-plexes, 60-unit apartments that will be in the neighborhood of $12 million. That will be in our TIF 10 for passage probably next month or the month after that. We're still working on the developer's agreement with that. This is TJ's thunder, so I'll let that go for now. It's been delayed for a year, unfortunately. State law threw a little monkey wrench into our development. It's similar to Sheboygan Falls, and the process had moved through the state assembly, so thank you for that. We're waiting for the state senate to put it on the dock and pass. It's got bipartisan support, and that'll get passed probably later this month in January or early February. We're looking to break ground in the spring on that, and that's a significant development, single family, right, TJ? This is one of our fun projects, if you can call it that. Sometimes people go skiing and they break a leg and it's a badge of honor. Well, we had 2 broken legs at Nut Hill this year, so one adult, one youngster. This is a private development. The city rented Nut Hill to the Nut Hill developers for $1. They've invested $2.5 million, and they're expanding the usage of it. And in our first year, we hit a little bumpy road with warm weather, unfortunately, but cold weather will come, and they're moving ahead as they plan. So it's exciting. It's in our backyard. It's something to do in the winter in the community. And on the bottom, this is another project. I have to be careful how I talk about the DNR. They're supposed to be your friends.
Wait, aren't they here?
And they are. We get along with them, but their engineers and architects don't always agree with our engineers and architects. So this project has been delayed for a year. We continue to work over very difficult issues and the interpretation of Webster's dictionary on different words. This is very hard this morning, tell me. But we expect that agreement to come about later this month, and we're looking for the Mill Pond Dam to be rebuilt, and the drawdown will be in the summer of '26. Project hopefully completed by the end of '26, and then refill the mill pond in '27. So part of what we try to do in working with businesses and communities around us, and it's important that we work with our education partners in the community as well. My hat's off to Lakeshore College because they've received national recognition for their competency-based education that lets them maneuver, switch, innovate programs in such a short period of time that when employers like Sargento, we go to them and say, we need a robotic operated efficient manufacturing facility. When? In 18 months. 18 months is a long time. In education, sometimes it's a short time, and they're able to come up with programs in 6 months. It's important that we have the opportunity to train our employees throughout the county at all of our facilities in a quick, responsive way. And the college does that far beyond to meet the needs of the county. And I certainly encourage everybody to use them as much as they can. They are very responsive, but they put our workers in production real fast. And so thank you for that. Other than that, we have a very active 26, 27 on the docket. We're hoping to have more news next year at this time. We have 2 more in the pipeline. So certainly this type of activity helps all of us in the county, and we appreciate all of your participation. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. What an amazing event this has been. Pine Hills, January, snow on the ground, but you can see grass, so people are itching to get out there. I thought the only time that I'd be speaking up here is if I hit a hole in one, and that is 1 in a billion. So very terrible at golf. So jumping into the SCDC, I've been with the SCDC since April. I was managing our internal processes, so I was finance and operations. Then recently I got named the Director of Economic Development, so super grateful to be here. I'm from Sheboygan. I'm a Southsider, so go Red Wings, go Red Wings. And now I live in Elkhart Lake, and we play Howard's Grove tonight, so sorry, Howard's Grove. Tonight's not going to be your night for basketball because us resorters are going to take you down. So let's jump into it. Just want to go over our vision and mission right off the bat. So our vision makes Sheboygan County a premier global destination for investment, employment, lifestyle, and economic well-being by creating opportunities that foster prosperity for communities, businesses, and residents. And the mission, the Sheboygan County Economic Development Corporation, a public-private partnership, identifies and facilitates innovative efforts to fuel growth for businesses, communities, and entrepreneurs while fostering vibrant neighborhoods for citizens of Sheboygan County. So, we heard before a huge need for housing and affordable housing. I like to call it attainable housing because affordable can go either which way you look at it. So I look at it as attainable housing. And I got a lot of thunder brewing up. Thank you to Plymouth and Sheboygan Falls. But to jump in first, I just want to call out how we got in the housing market. Our housing initiative is supported by the Forward Fund, which was capitalized through generous $2 million donations or contributions from Masters Gallery, Kohler, Sargento, and Johnsonville. So that created a pool of $8 million for us to then look at land, start developing, and start building. In addition, Sheboygan County also contributed $2 million in ARPA funds. So thank you, Elaine and Sheboygan County. With the housing initiative, it offers attainable, again, homes for qualified buyers that have jobs or have job offers in Sheboygan County. The initiative is intended to boost the economy, provide more entry-level housing, in addition, create a more talented workforce pool. So, our first phase, which is in Sheboygan Falls, thank you to the great partnership with the city of Sheboygan Falls. This is Founders Point. So this is 54 home subdivision, right over by my favorite Wingstop, Legend Larry's. But we are near completion, and let me see if I can get that laser pointer. So these last 3 homes are the last 3 that are under construction. The expected completion on this is March of 2026, so just around the corner here. Outside of that, the other 51 homes, we have 1 home that's available for sale. Currently, the other 50 have offers to purchase or have been purchased. So super excited about that and the progress that we have made. And the amazing thing about this is that 75% of the home buyers are first-time homeowners. So being from a young family, this is really neat to see that 75% of that 50 is first-time homeowners. So really neat there. In addition, 30% of these individuals are coming from or relocating from outside the county and moving back into the county to boost the economy. We all know, we like to spend money where we live, so this is huge that they're coming back into the county, relocating for jobs and what there is. A recent success story that I wanted to share, I didn't get approval from this individual, so I'm not going to name names, but a local company had an intern over the summer, and her final semester was up in December. So she had her internship. She loved being back in Sheboygan County, even though she was living, I think it was out west of Wisconsin. She ended up in August getting a full-time job offer, and she looked at our houses in Founders Point and actually bought a house in Founders Point. So that's just a really neat story of how we retain talent and got that individual that was living in Sheboygan, or that was not living in Sheboygan County but working here, got the job offer, and then moved back to Sheboygan County, which she just moved in December 21st, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, pretty excited, pretty cool story. Then one last thing I didn't put on as a bullet. The residents here work at 46 distinct Sheboygan County employers. So this is not just saturated with a handful of employers, this is 46 across Sheboygan County. Then phase 2, which in your booklet I believe it said 46. There was a typo, and there's a typo later which I'll call out. This is a 41 home subdivision. This is a pocket style neighborhood, which is pretty unique for Sheboygan County. The pocket neighborhood shares a center lot, which I'm aiming here. That's shared, and that's community space. So basically that is individuals' front yards that then is in basically a park, so be it. There's not going to be playground equipment or anything like that. It's just a shared center lot for people to mingle and be at. So pretty neat concept. Our first 6 homes got handed over to us a few months back, or about a month and a half ago, and we did get our first offer accepted. So really excited about that we're starting to make progress there after phase 1 is nearing completion. This subdivision is just north of phase 1. So up here you can see phase 1, and then down below this is all phase 2 then. And then Mayor Meyer mentioned Bruce City Capital. That's down here where they're building multifamily homes. So again, everything that the SCDC is doing is single-family homes in Sheboygan Falls, as well as in the city of Plymouth. So with the city of Plymouth, again, this is our newest phase. This is a concept idea. This idea now is outdated because I just got an email saying that we are moving from 106 to 102. Every week it changes, but currently we're at 99, or we started at 94, then we went to 99, then it went up to 106. I'm like, let's just put a number up there that is right in the middle, or that can meet it all, right? So this is estimated to be 99 to 106 homes. Why there's a difference in the amount of homes is we're looking. The high school is up here. we're looking to potentially put a trail, which then would reduce certain lots, and then we want to make certain lots larger. So that's why there's a difference there and why we keep fluctuating with the plans. But this is really exciting. We're waiting on WIDA or I should say the state, to pass a bill, which then allows us to get an infrastructure loan from WIDA at a low interest rate. But really excited about the partnership that we have with the City of Plymouth, as well as WIDA on this initiative. The expected completion for this, or I should say the expected start date is this spring. Expected completion is 2030. All right, now with the SBDC and innovation. The SBDC and our Innovation Council provides the resources and expertise to entrepreneurs, startups, and small businesses to succeed. With partnership of with SBDC, UW Green Bay, we have one full-time counselor. His name is Ray York. Show of hands, who knows Ray? Yeah, I had a feeling 75%-ish would know Ray. Ray's amazing. I'll share his contacts later on at the end of my presentation, but he's a great resource here for Sheboygan County. He advised 223 clients. He initiated 11 business startups and had assisted with 20 capital transactions, netting to be $31.5 million in capital investment in Sheboygan County. So this was 2025 stat. Those are huge numbers for Ray, and super grateful to have him as a member of the SCDC and helping support the county. And a few other things we launched in third quarter of 2025 was the Accelerate Product Development Loan. This lends to early stage product ideas. The loans ranging from 10 to 25K depending on the stage and idea. We partnered with WEDC and USDA on this. In your packets, I had initially put 10 to 25 million for some reason. That is not the amount. It's 10 to 25,000. I wish it was. I got a little bullish with my presentation and wanted to make even more thunder. So I had that typo in there, so apologies on that. Jody, our treasurer, sorry. And then in 2026, we're launching our Scale Accelerator program. This is a new seed accelerator program focused on offering education, mentorship, and funding. This was partnership with the WEDC, where we received a $200,000 grant that we actually have to match with in-kind services, financing, and other. So this is a really big effort that we have for the SBDCs and new startups in Sheboygan County. So we're really excited for this. This program is launching now, and we're still reviewing applicants as well as accepting applicants. So if you know of anybody that is interested in this, please let us know. It'd be great to get them in the Seed Accelerator. Then lastly for this, for the first time in 2025, we hosted the Startup World Cup event. This is a worldwide event, and we hosted the regional event. I'll show a picture of the other regional host. It's pretty neat to see how we compared and who we were with the likes of. But at the Startup World Cup, there was 300 attendants, 90 pitch applicants, 10 of which presented during the Startup World Cup. And the winner ended up being Some Hydration. That went on to San Francisco for the grand prize of $1 million investment. So unfortunately they lost, but it was a great experience for them at San Francisco. And it was a great experience here at Sheboygan County, as well as putting us on the radar, not just in the state, not just United States, but also internationally. We're planning on doing this event again in 2026. So as I mentioned, it was a worldwide event. Hopefully some of you can see, but we were with the likes of Hong Kong, London, then more domestic as San Diego, and my former, or I should say our rival, Chicago. When I say rival is because I'm still a Packers fan, even though I lived in Chicago for 10 years. But yeah, so it was pretty neat to see Sheboygan on the radar as a regional host, and we're going to hopefully continue that effort. On to Attract, and I think I got 20 more minutes left.
As long as they want
People
to
want
stay
Bloody
on.
Marys, I heard, so I'll make this quick. The Village of Cedar Grove is advancing on a 152-acre business park on former farmland. at the junction of I-43 and Highway 32. With a public-private partnership, the owner of the land is going to maintain ownership, while the Village of Cedar Grove is going to develop the infrastructure. This is Gold Shovel certified by New North. So that's a huge accomplishment and something great that we were working on together with. And then in addition to that, it's in a prime position to be the only WEDC certified site in between Green Bay and Milwaukee. So we're really excited about this. And we got some more stuff going on. The Village of Random Lake was not here today, but I wanted to share a note from them. The Village of Random Lake is actually focused on beautifying and revitalizing its downtown to create more vibrant and welcoming community. Key efforts include plans for a boardwalk around Library Bay, connecting the lake to downtown through an alleyway to encourage foot traffic and better integrate their natural resources with local businesses. To support these efforts, the village has joined the WEDC Connect Communities program to receive guidance and assistance with downtown revitalization. In addition, Random Lake was recently awarded $5,000 Wisconsin DNR grant to enhance green space and tree planting. These funds are being used to improve 2 public spaces within the downtown area, further strengthening their overall revitalization effort. Breaking news, Sheboygan County Economic Development Corporation is hosting our Sheboygan County Developer Summit on Thursday, April 23rd. More information to come, but spoiler alert, it will be here. So super excited about that. There should be no snow out there, and we should be done by 2 so that the members of Pine Hills can go out and golf after it. So really excited about that. This is a great opportunity, short and long term, to build connections with developers and really booster the economic growth of Sheboygan County. So excited for this event. And there, I promised I would share Ray's contact information. There it is. But thank you all for the opportunity, and super excited for 2026.
Thank you so much, TJ. And see, that's what happens when I don't carry my paper up here and read my lines. I say the wrong things. But new Director of Economic Development. But we're super excited to be working with TJ and continuing our partnership with the SCEDC. So just, to kind of wrap things up, this is I believe my 9th Economic Outlook breakfast presentation that I've given in the community since I came on board, and it's really interesting and really fun to see where we were all those years ago, and now what the new and bigger and better and broader developments that are happening, especially surrounding housing. There were far fewer housing developments taking place at that time than there are today. So this is what happens when the business community speaks up and says, this is what the needs are. Let's get together and figure out how we can make things happen. And this is the fruit of those labors. So I want to say thank you to all of you for standing up for your community, for engaging in your community, and for doing the heavy lifting. When I was preparing for this presentation, I was going through some of the historical information for the Chamber of Commerce dating back to 1885, and the common theme is that all the things got done because the business community stood up and got the things done. It was before government was doing the things. It was businesses that were formulating nonprofits. It was businesses that were putting streetlights in. It was businesses that were really taking the economic growth space and making it happen. And so I think that's a great reminder, because that is the strength of our community. So congratulations to all of you. Again, thank you. Thank you to Purveya for being a wonderful sponsor of this program annually, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.